A long time ago, there was a time, about 20 years ago, there was a time when mgtow really didn't exist. I mean, mgtow was, I mean, it was kind of a new concept. I think there's this TV show called Married with Children it's called Married with Children, and Al Bundy had this club called like No Ma'am. And it was like his own official like underground mgtow club. It's called No Ma'am. I think that was maybe the beginnings of mgtow. Maybe, I don't know. My friend Johnny used to talk about that a lot. It was funny. What point of this video is I want to talk about before mgtow, before I discovered it, what directions I would go into, and I want to talk about the pitfalls that I fell into. If you're unaware of what a pitfall is, it's like a hole covered with like sticks and leaves, and you fall in, there's spikes at the bottom, and you die when you fall into it. Before mgtow, there's a lot of pitfalls. The friend zone, that's mainly what I'll talk about right now, how you get into that. And before I discovered mgtow, I used to meet women. Here and there, you know, maybe in high school or, you know, college or whatever. You know, I meet girls, you know, Walmart, whatever, you know, just anywhere. You know, you that's what you thought you were supposed to do. That's how you approach girls. You spit some game. I had to learn about all this stuff, man. And anyways, but sometimes you would date girls right away, and you would get these dates, and they keep, you know, going on. Sometimes you would you get lucky some nights, you know, you hook up with these girls, but sometimes, because you always got to start out kind of like as like friends slash potential more than friends, right? And usually 3 dates. A lot of guys have a 3-date rule. I want to talk about before mgtow. I'm going to talk about that. But the worst possible scenario would be when a girl she would go on a date or two with you, and she would talk to you on the phone, and she would text you, and she would talk to you, and she would act like she was more than a friend, and that you were more than a friend to her, you know, and vice versa, like I said. But you're still in this friend zone, you know, you're not sleeping with her, so you're in this friend zone, and that's a confusing zone, because you think you can, any guy can basically jump out of that friend zone at any time, based on her decisions, based on her emotions and how she feels that day about you, or based on how her other friends or her other boyfriend treated her that day. She'd get mad at her boyfriend and she calls you, you come over, you know, stuff like that. It's a really confusing area to be in. It's like quicksand. And you can waste 5 years of your life right there in that zone. And it could pan out, and you could get everything you want, you know, or you could get nothing you want. Maybe all you want is to hook up with her, you know. Well, maybe you want more than that. Maybe you wanted to be with that girl for longer than that. Maybe for a month or 2 months, or, you know, maybe you wanted, you know, a lot more than that. But what women will do is they like to flirt with that power, and they like to flirt with guys. But they flirt with that power right there. Once you get their number and you start texting them, they like you right there. It's a sweet spot for them. They're getting everything they want, and they already know if they're going to sleep with you or not. They already knew that from the first 5 minutes of meeting you. They already knew that. But they could keep you in that friend zone for 6 months, say, and then one day you think you go over to their house, they invite you over for dinner, and you hook up with them, and then after 2 or 3 days they tell you to leave, and then they don't talk to you again. You thought you were going to have a relationship, but they already knew. They already planned it all out. They knew they're going to hook up with you, but they didn't know when, but they knew it was just going to be a hookup. And they already knew they had other guys lined up for a relationship, or they were already in a relationship. So women already know which guys they want to hook up with, and they know which guys they want to have a relationship with, and they also know which guys have no chance with them, but they'll still keep them in this friend zone for as long as that guy will take it, for fucking 30 years. That guy will stay in that friend zone for 30 years, they'll keep him there. And that's actually not the woman's fault. That's actually the man's fault for that trap, for that pitfall. That's what we're talking about today. These are all pitfalls that you can fall into. There's 3 different pitfalls.